Hello everyone, this is Dave the Virgin Gamer, and we're joined with Mr. Patrick to have a bit of a discussion regarding one of his personal favorite games, and one that I have not played before and will probably never play again, but then again, I have no idea yet. Also, we're completely ripping off Yahtzee Crow Shell's Let's Drown Out format, because why not? You rip people off so you learn your own techniques, and then you have your own style. So,
why not?
Yeah, why not? So anyway, Mr. Patrick, what is your experience with this game that makes you like it so much?
Well, the ending's one thing.
Yeah, didn't you say this is like the only game to make you, like, cry or something?
Yes.
So, well, I mean, that's fine. I mean, technically the only game to have made me cry was a Japanese RPG starring half of it being a frickin' dungeon crawler, and the second half of it being a high school anime, so, you know.
If you can't put that together.
Yeah, well. Anyway, this is pre-recorded if you couldn't already tell. So, we're trying something new. We're not going to, well, by new by our standards. This is something we've never done, but it's, yep, phone goes off. That's always a thing that happens in videos, isn't it? But, this is pre-recorded. For the purposes of not having to read a whole bunch of stuff while still being able to commentate. But this entire little intro sequence here, yeah, do you want to be famous? That's a loaded question, because on the one hand, I would like people to sort of follow and listen to what I say, but, you know, I don't want to necessarily be famous. But, a lot of what you're seeing right now is a red herring, because, the point in this is, once you fill out this little questionnaire, it gives you sort of a Pokemon persona of some degree, or description. Now, the one I got this time around was a Bulbasaur, which you're going to see in a bit. But we did a test run of this before to make sure the emulator was working. And I ended up with what I can only describe as an angry flaming onion. So, I decided to take the test again, but then I loaded a save state from before in which I was an angry flaming onion. It said to stand still, so I wiggled the mouse around to and fro like I didn't give a crap. If you hear chewing noises and what sounds like muffled talking, we went to Burger King to get some hot dogs, so that's what we're eating.
That's what you do when you go to a burger joint. You go get hot dogs.
Have to admit, they're really good hot dogs, though.
Yeah, they are.
They're grilled.
Anyway, I spent a lot of time with this just on the grounds of a lot of times I didn't like what it gave me. Like the first time it gave me a Chimchar. I played that for a bit, and then I goofed. So I forgot how I goofed, but I goofed so badly I had to restart the entire game. Went again, and then I got me a Shinx. And I've been playing as a Shinx for a really long time. Honestly, I tried other things, just gonna get myself to do it.
Now see, I loaded up the save state just then, so now we're doing this. Now, I'm a Gen 1 guy. Gen 2, maybe 3 in a pinch. Because my, I'll say this. My Pokemon experience ended with the third movie. Right around that time is when I stopped watching or paying attention. So
no.
Entei is basically the last sort of legendary of sorts that I'm aware of.
Oh no.
So I went with a Pikachu. What?
Do you know the weakness that... Do you know the one weakness that both electric and fire type have?
Water.
Actually, no. Electric type... water's weak to electric types. That's not your problem. There's a type that I don't... Have you heard of a ground type?
I know what a ground type is.
There's a move called Earthquake. What? And it's still the most devastating move, even in this game. And the one you're playing as, Torchic, that's what it's called, is a fire type. You are going to receive hell with those combinations. Just warning you now.
You say that as if I'm ever going to actually get to that point. Now, I selected Pikachu, named him Senor Pika, regretted that, thought, no, I have a better idea. Because I thought, okay, I just thought of something. I had the perfect opportunity to name something, anything. So I went back and named him Dickbutt. And then decided, this is not repeated footage, then I decided, wait a minute, I'm actually going to take this with a modicum of, I don't even think that's a word. I'm going to take this with at least a hint of seriousness. I'm actually going to take this somewhat seriously and make an honest effort at this. So I went back and re-entered the name. But I was tempted so much to just name things just something ridiculous. But no, I was going to take this slightly seriously. For your sake. Because I'd much rather play anything else. And you know, to give you an indication as to my experience with this, this made me want to go back to Tartarus. It's like Persona's turn-based bullcrap battles that I don't even like. At least it had like really good music and it was stylish and had interesting enemies. This was just two sprites kissing each other to death. And I was bored out of my frickin' skull. I managed to get through over an hour of it. And then I was like, okay, that's enough for a video. We're gonna do this again. I'm gonna do in one more session at least. Just for the sake of argument. But this is not gonna be a complete series. This is gonna be how much can I stand this bollocks before I finally say no.
Unfortunately, it takes to the halfway point of the game before it actually gets pretty serious.
Well, even then, kind of talking to like ground type weaknesses though. That goes to show just how little I know about Pokemon. I didn't even think about that kind of thing. It's just I'm familiar with Pikachu's because show and stuff in the yellow version. Yeah. So it's like,
yeah, I understand. It's just. If you were not a fire type, I would like go for it. Electric types are actually pretty powerful in this.
Oh yeah, he was doing the majority of the damage before I figured out how to use like special attacks and stuff. You're probably gonna hate this footage. So it's gonna take forever for me to figure out how to do anything but just bump up against something.
I'll help you figure out how to navigate around the controls, but I'll help you enjoy as much as you can of the game. And the other thing I really loved about this game, besides the story to the ending, was the post-game. There was so much stuff after the game, it could have been a whole game of its own. Like, it was like... there's probably more stuff in the post-game than there was in the main game.
Well, that's a bit misguiding, isn't it? It's like the majority of our content is for after you beat the game. Well, thanks, whoever made this. Game Freak, or whoever.
Well, when I say that, I mean like there's different things that happen, stuff. When I say content, I mean like story and stuff, not really, actual content. Well, mostly.
So the post-game does the storytelling?
No, okay, I'm getting this wrong. Okay, yes, there is storytelling in the post-game. Kind of explaining some things they might have, I say, after the first half of the game, which would be the normal bit. But really, there is a lot more afterwards.
Okay.
No, never mind. I just enjoy what happens after the game. There's just a lot more to it. If you can't tell, I can't sell water to a thirsty man. I can't explain anything to anyone without making them realize that they rather eat wood than what I'm offering them.
They would rather chew a brick than listening to you chew the scenery.
Exactly. So, if we do any kind of future video of you explaining things, gotta be you doing the explaining. Because, as I said, I cannot.
Well, it depends. I mean, the problem is, my issue with this game is it is a completely different... Well, it's not 100% completely different. I mean, the whole mystery dungeon aspect of randomized and go around, attack things, there's treasure, random layouts, blah, blah, blah. Once again, reminded me it kind of made me want to go back and play Persona again by simple virtue. It's basically the same as Tartarus. You go in, everything's kind of randomized, and I was using a very similar tactic to any of the Persona game, or Persona 3. I've never played any of the other ones. But with Persona 3, my strategy was find the stairs. Just that's the first thing you do. Find the stairs.
Yeah, and that's pretty much this too.
Yeah,
you do not explore the dungeon unless you absolutely have to, like whether it be missions or just on the grounds of the stairs are on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, so my strategy was find the stairs just in case. So
and this is definitely a game that you want to do that. Maybe not early. Maybe not for the first few dungeons. You do want to play around with the first few dungeons, but assholes. After the first few dungeons, you do not want to explore. You do want to go straight for the stairs. If you do find yourself exploring, great, goodies for you, and also death. And this is definitely a game you do not want to die on, because you'll lose half of everything you own on your personal self.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was thinking, well, isn't having to restart a big freaking way bad enough? And that's a little bit of a prick move there, Game Freak.
There is one way to prevent that, but that will require...
Yeah, just don't die.
Well, not just that. Okay, there's a second way of avoiding that. In the game, later on, like close to the end, you have an option, if you fail, to send out an SOS for help. And so you have to wait for someone else with another cartridge of the same game to come save your butt. Well, that's where I screwed up with my first thing. I didn't know what I was talking about. Like, huh? Yes, I'll send out SOS. Okay, you're stuck on this island now for the rest of your life until someone comes and saves your butt. What?
Sending out an SOS. Sending out it. So it requires, like Wi-Fi connection or something in order for somebody to come save you. That's a bit naff.
I don't know if they changed that with Super Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah, so I completely missed my very first battle because I was sitting there trying to figure out why the run mechanic is not so much run, so much as move at a ridiculously high speed and crash into a wall.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to come to terms with the controls, while Senor Pika is taking all the hits from this thing. The clam-looking thing.
Shoulder. Yeah, even back in Gen 1, the Pokemon were a bit...
I don't even know what that is. I think it's like look.
Oh,
it's like the look function or something. But I was like, okay,
yeah,
good.
That actually is useful when you're doing rescue missions, because if you do not do that and you're not looking at the right spot for certain Pokemon you're trying to save, it will become a hassle when you're trying to look at them. They're constantly moving around, and yes, if you're out saving a water type, they will go into the water and you will never be able to save them. I told you this before, but this game does have some bull moments. Some bull-loogie moments.
Some bull hockey. Oh. So yeah, this is the battle system. You walk up to something and you crunch heads together until one of you dies.
And you haven't discovered the moveset yet, have you?
I don't know if I have or not. Well, I may have already done something with that. I don't remember. It was not here. I think it was after this sort of opening dungeon that I went into the refrigerator and started drinking cider. So while my gameplay did not get weird and even if it was live commentary, I wasn't like drunk, but I believe my experience with this is a bit fuzzy. Stairs leading to next. I hit info thinking that there was going to be something other than here's what stairs do, stupid. Honestly, I think this game would have benefited from having just what do you think they do. I don't know. This game struck me as, and there's nothing wrong with having games mainly for younger audiences, but it definitely had that kind of younger audience feel to it.
And that's one of the things that makes the ending a little more powerful, because
it does that Disney thing where it's just like, this is for kids, now here's a dark thing.
I want to go more for Earthbound levels of darkness at times. Okay, maybe not psychotic levels, but dark levels.
Maybe not Gygus or whatever his name is.
No, but it does get pretty dark. Like I said, it does the halfway point being the serious point of the main game. That's where it does get dark. I won't tell you what happens if you actually decide to get to that point.
We'll see what it does, because I'm going to do another, like I said, I'm going to record one more session. And if it doesn't do anything, then you may as well call it quits, because I can tell you right now that, like, the reason I was able to get through Persona, despite it being everything I don't like, basically, was story, presentation, and all that fun stuff. This has, like, none of that.
Not yet. Not yet. Maybe not on the same level as Persona, no. I don't think anything's going to really touch upon Persona levels.
I'll give it the benefit of the doubt for story, but as far as gameplay goes, unless they have, like, something other than this, this will remain as a game that would have been far better to be played on the toilet.
Well, again, on the DS, so...
Yeah. Yeah, this is emulated, so, you know, it's not on a DS. I wasn't playing this on a DS. So... I don't know. I don't see me ever really getting through this game. I wouldn't get through this game even if it was this amazing... I don't even know what I did there. I don't know how I ended up eating a thing. It's like, there was like 7 buttons I could have pushed, but I hit one and then just kept pushing buttons, and then I ate a thing. So, I'm just an idiot.
Well, you're just kind of half-heartedly kind of playing.
No, like I said, I was going to take this seriously. It's later on when I basically was getting into a routine, despite only playing it for an hour. That's when I was sort of half-hearting it, while also thinking about breasts or something. I forget what I was doing. But you can basically see the state that I'm in by around the time. Yeah, I love that run button. That got me.
Unfortunately, there will be some issues.
Oh yeah, you run into enemies and there's like, oh, free hit. But
yeah.
Never mind.
And also, there'll be times where the game will have to tell you some information, like you took damage from weather, so it will constantly stop you telling you that, so that can get annoying a bit.
Also, those floor pad things, those green switches, whatever. During my entire time playing this, none of them did anything.
Oh, that's because they're supposed to be for stats. Like if your defense went down, you step on those to reset. Of course, if your attack went up, you kind of want to avoid them because they'll also reset that.
Okay, so it doesn't. They restore. They don't change. They just or they don't change you from a normal state. They restore.
They reset, if you will.
Oh, that would explain some things. I don't think I ever even ran into a circumstance where they reset me.
Also, there's one other thing that is a bull-loogie moment that you will encounter as you play the game. Much later on, thankfully, but it is something that even I find irritating, and that is invisible traps. And later on, there will be lots, and...
Okay, well, how did that work? Is there like an item that lets you detect them, or are they literally just there to kill you?
Oh, there's an item, and there's even some other things that can help you find them, and there's even some items that can help you destroy them. Problem is once you step on them, sometimes, and a lot of times, they'll activate. So, like, if you step on an explosion, it will explode on you. If you step on something that will shoot spikes on you, it's gonna shoot spikes on you, and most likely it's a poison one, so you're also poisoned. Yay! Luckily,
sounds great.
Luckily, once you get to the next floor, any and all stats like poison's gone, so that's nice.
Being chased by pink chicken over there. Corsola, that does not sound like a Gen 1 or 2, so I didn't know what the heck any of these...
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I've probably not watched Pokemon. I've probably not even interacted with this series properly in well over a decade. So this was my first proper, extended interaction with the series since I was probably 10 years old, if not younger.
Yeah.
So this is not, like, when did the third movie come out?
I don't know. I actually don't really keep track of the movies. I'm a Pokemon fan, but I actually don't keep track of the movies because there's so many of them.
I'll look up when the third movie came out, just for the sake of argument, so we can gauge how long it's been since... Nope, I tell a lie. It was a few years ago I rewatched the second Pokemon movie. Actually, I rewatched both the first and the second one. Didn't watch the third one, but I did watch the first one. That movie was basically... It was first movie... It was like... It had... I don't want to add itis onto it because that's a medical term that is applied to stuff that doesn't even work. Anyway, but it's like it had first... Fuck it, I'll just say it anyway. It had first movie itis, in which it was a bunch of licensed or remixed songs. It was very wrapped up. It was very kind of like, hey, Pokemon, it's Pokemon, blah, 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 here's pop songs and stuff. Whereas the second movie had like its own unique soundtrack, and Lugia's theme is still great.
I actually seen that movie once, Pokemon 2000, but I remember most of it. Well, as far as like scenes go, I can't remember what happens and why it happened and music and all that stuff.
It's villainous poop. It has a really crappy villain. It's like to say Mewtwo was a complex villain is stretching it, but Mewtwo as a villain it's like at least he had a reason to exist. The guy in the second movie is like, I'm going to collect the legendary Pokemons because
he's trying to fill his collection. He's doing what the anime's always been telling us. Gotta catch them all.
Pretty much. That was his entire point. He was just this giant sky fortress with rotor blades that weren't spinning even nearly fast enough to keep up his sky fortress.
Well,
but the second movie actually has a really good sense of atmosphere, a really good sense of scale. And this is coming from somebody who had not interacted with the series in over a decade. It's like, I'm gonna watch the first and second movies for kind of a nostalgia trip. And aside from whoever took care of the widescreen or like the formatting, the 4:3 formatting for the second movie has one scene where the people talking are off screen because it had some of the jankiest formatting I have ever seen. But for what it's worth, except for a few very specific problems, that movie still works. It is still actually pretty good. And
I probably should check it out again. It's just like I said, I haven't really been keeping track of the movie because there's been so many of them. I mean, even more recently, or as recent as I can remember, Pokemon Black and White movies. There was 2 of them. I'm pretty sure they were the same, except like the games, only slight differences.
Well, that's a bit odd, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like, here's the same movie, but this scene is different, or this is an extra.
As far as I know, anyway, I actually need to look at them. But
Are you sure it wasn't? Maybe it was like a 2-part series. Maybe it was.
I'll have to look. Like I said, I haven't been keeping track of the movies.
If it was basically the same movie but with some alterations, that is horrible. Because somebody may as well just do like a fan edit putting the 2 together and you'd probably have a complete product. That's like the reverse. That's like the reverse of what they did with the Digimon movie, where it was like 3 movies stitched together with spit and tape.
I forgot about that thing existing.
Man, I would almost say I actually watched it as a kid, but I don't think I did. I mean, it looked familiar whenever I was watching the Nostalgia Critics review of it. It looked familiar, but
maybe it was the shows that you remember more than the movie. Sort
of. But even then, I don't really remember Digimon as a show all that well. I really don't. That was a weird. It was odd because it's obvious. It was. Was Digimon really that Pokemon ripoff? What is that really what it was?
No, definitely not. I mean, there are similarities, yes, but honestly, saying there's that one's ripping off the other, Digimon's ripping off Pokemon, it's like saying, oh, Sonic's ripping off Mario, or Counter-Strike's ripping off Call of Duty, or...
That's the other way around, dude.
Sorry, you know what I mean. I was going to say, or vice versa, because I don't know which one's which.
Counter-Strike 1.6 came out in like 1999 or 2000. Call of Duty came around 2004, I think. I don't know. They're just
Digimon,
they are completely different games, though.
Speaking of Digimon, I've noticed that they're trying to reignite the life in that series with the show Digimon Fusion, which is actually pretty good. And then 2 Digimon games.
If they're redoing the series, who's producing it? Like, who's handling it?
Because
4 kids died off, so it has to be at least a better dub.
I actually don't know. I forgot, actually.
We're not even paying attention to what the heck is going on.
That's because I already know what's happening.
Yeah, have we become a team? Did I become a team yet? Oh yeah, I forgot what the hotkey was to save state, so ignore that. I didn't totally pirate this game.
Technically, I let him borrow it, and then he pirated it, so technically...
Yeah, I have access to the game, it's just I don't have the cartridge. Monsieur Patrick actually does own the game. So first I save stated it, and then I did that. And there was, for some reason, I kept having to reload the save state, but... No, I had to reload it like 3 times due to the fact that I kept forgetting to do something. That
imagery can be a bit scary right there. Just that lighting, he's like, oh, shoot.
Okay, no, we hadn't been in the guild yet, so I hadn't created the team name yet. And you can see, like, the 2 influences. Whenever I named the team... Try that again. The team name, you can instantly gauge the 2 influences of the team name. And you'll just have to see it when it comes up. But,
And here we are going to have a little bit of a laugh, or a joke, first joke in the series.
Sort of.
I always thought it was amusing.
Well, it wasn't cringe-inducing, but then again, I wasn't necessarily the happy camper. No, this is when I went and got some cider. The reason I reloaded the save state 3 times is first, I went up, I had to like restart the recording a couple of times as well due to having to like get some cider, take a pee, and then come back and all this other crap. That's not important. That's not even something I should be telling anyone because it was totally seamless. There totally wasn't a jump cut there. Anyway, great! But, I did find it unusual how they were talking in a bit. It's just like there's a Pokemon on the great. It's just like this guy with a verbal tick, or like a bee stinging him the whole time. It's just every once in a while, just this personal little pet bee would bite him in the butt.
That's the Pokemon with Tourette's.
Pretty much. That's just the Vietnamese Pokemon that Vine Sauce Joel played. But I forgot what we were really talking about. Something about Digimon, but screw it. But no, it's
Well, I was saying that they're trying to ignite life into that by newer show, Fusion, and 2 games come out recently. Pokemon Rumble, All-Star Rumble, that was it. That was okay. Best for, little kids. Not as good as the original. I should know I played the original. And, also a JRPG Digimon for, I want to say, PS4?
They did a full-fledged JRPG for PS4 on a property that hasn't been around for eons.
Maybe it wasn't PS4. I don't know. I'll have to look again.
I'm thinking of like the Vita. The Vita is more likely to get something like that.
No, it was actually PS or console, not handheld.
What the heck?
It looks pretty though.
Well, I imagine it probably would be, but they must be really hardcore trying to get that thing back. Just if they're going to be pouring that kind of budget in.
Well, if you've seen the third season of Digimon, you would understand why. Because the third season is really good.
Are we talking like the original, like new cast of characters and stuff?
Yeah, the one where they did away with like tie and stuff and introduced new characters.
Yeah, and that's when I stopped watching it. My sister and I watched. I don't even know if it was like seasons, but it was like, the kids and stuff like that, and then they were older. And I don't even know if we saw that whole season, honestly.
I remember more of season 2 of Digimon than any others. For the most part, the first one, I only saw like 2 or 3 of the exact same episodes of the first season. And then for most of the second one, I remember mainly the villain, or the original villain, and his, I guess I want to say,
Are you talking like the first season?
No, the second season.
Oh.
The original villain of the second season, and his, how he redeems himself, and his redemption and stuff like that. That's what I was looking for.
Well, how does that go about? Because that's probably more interesting than anything I've done.
Pretty much he got his butt kicked, as far as I can remember.
This footage is, at this point, just kind of background noise, so we're not just talking into a black screen.
Yeah, we pretty much gone from Pokemon to Digimon.
Who cares? Who cares? It's kind of a podcast. People can listen to this while taking a poo. People can listen to this while taking a poo. Or our voices are so sexy that they can diddle they diddles. Anyway.
There is nothing sexy about my voice.
Take off that brassiere, my dear. That's a Barry White quote. And it's also a reference to Everybody Loves Raymond.
And now for one of the more interesting characters in this game.
Interesting? That's like, aside from this kind of vaguely Five Nights at Freddy's turnaround, yeah, sort of thing, not really anything that goes on.
Not yet. You just keep playing, trust me.
Oh my goodness, I just realized he has a treasure chest full of balls. He has balls of steel. They're color pink. Oh yeah, okay. So I spent probably 10 minutes trying to think of a name. And you were on Steam at the time. That's what I asked, was like, quick, think of a team name.
Oh, so, I thought you were asking me about your Steam account, because for the longest time you were constantly changing your Steam account name.
Okay. I ran out of room, but I was going to type in Gluteus Minimus. I was like, no, that didn't work. So, had to restart, had to go back, and I tried like a lot of things. Scuttlebutt, that didn't fit.
Just one
team. It's like, no, we're gonna go whole hog or nothing. So then now guess the 2 influences here. And I even thought about that for too long. So yes. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Ruby recently,
and also
I've been drinking cider, so I'm Team Cider. And I actually really tried to think, how could I justify it with Pokemon-related stuff, and I just thought, whatever, I'm Team Cider.
Well...
And I didn't think ahead, otherwise I could have named Senor Pika something a little bit more relevant, but I didn't even really know what this game was going to offer. So if I were to replay this, I would plan it a little bit better.
Well, you're going in blind for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's a completely blind. I didn't know what the heck any of this was going to do. Like,
I really love the pixel art of this game. It's downright gorgeous. And pretty detailed if you really pay attention.
Well, I didn't personally find much favor with it. It's kind of similar to what you see in a lot of DS games. It's vaguely cartoony, but I don't know.
Well, it'd be kind of weird if Pokemon kind of went realistic on us.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's vaguely... I don't know. I mean, this is the kind of art that I expect from a DS title. Whereas you get ones that are, I guess, more detailed. Like, you get Shantae, that's just this ridiculously detailed. Like
Shantae.
Scuttletown and stuff like that, or whatever the heck it's called.
I'm glad that Shantae's finally getting more recognition these days.
There's another game coming out.
Oh, yeah!
I don't know what it's coming out on. There's apparently a demo of it, but it's not on 3DS and it's not on Steam. I believe it's Wii U.
Uh-oh.
Wii U or like one of the other consoles, but it's called Half Genie Hero.
Okay.
I hope it comes to Steam, because I really liked Pirate's Curse.
Yeah, please don't do Kingdom Hearts on us, please.
I don't see why they would. No, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, that's a recommendation from me any day. That was fun. That was a fun little game. Had some parts of it that were annoying, but no game is perfect. Like that's a game that you can describe as offset. It's a consistent brilliance, not even really brilliance, but consistent greatness, and followed swiftly by one or two really stupid design decisions. But it doesn't last all the way through. It's possible to beat the game without a guide, which means it's not broken. But you had to literally tell me what one of the solutions was because it was so freaking stupid.
Yeah, having to talk to the guy after you give him his toy.
Yeah.
Even though
throughout the entirety of the game, every character has like one line of dialogue. So it's like you talk to them once, and that's the only thing they're gonna say until like a new event happens or something. One of the solutions to get into one of the would you even call them dungeons? Like, I don't know, like the interior.
I guess they are called dungeons.
Well, I don't know, but in order to access one of the plot areas,
We'll just call them dungeons because that's easy.
Oh, I did like this guy though. The guy who just yells a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, I am this guy. I am Loudred incarnate. I will dress up in a furry suit and go yell at people. But anyway, one of the solutions to Shantae was, despite having no other character have any other lines of dialogue, have just like one line of dialogue, in order to continue the story, you have to talk to someone twice. So you have over 3/4 of the game do one thing, and then just the solution to a problem is to talk to someone twice. That drove me mad. But, and what's funny is, I guess talking a little bit more of Shantae, because why not? It's a really good game.
Well, we talked about Pokemon game, might as well.
Yeah, but that's vaguely within the line of this. Shantae has nothing to do with anything.
Well, except for being awesome.
Yeah, it was a fun game. It's one of those games it's one of those games it's one of those games that was obviously developed long before budget was really a huge issue with games, because Shantae is a half genie belly dancer who attacks with her hair. Why not? Well, then again, Bayonetta exists, but I've never played a Metroidvania game beyond a brief stint into Symphony of the Night shortly before the first boss separated my head from my torso and I broke the game. No, I didn't. That was your copy. You would have killed me. Anyway, but no, I have like no experience with Metroidvania. And then just Shantae. The entire reason I even played that was because you said that Shantae was cute.
She is cute!
Yeah, she is cute. She's
freaking adorable! If there was a plushie, I would want the plushie.
Yeah, so Shantae is cute. But here's the thing. Patrick doesn't say anything about that kind of thing. You are one of the most tight-lipped persons when it comes to anything related to, like female attractiveness and stuff like that. It's just not your thing. It's not something you talk about. And then the fact that you just mentioned that with no provocation, I'm like, okay, this must be something different. So it's okay. So it's in your Steam account, and I have access to your Steam account. So I downloaded it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to spend a little bit of time playing this. I probably should record this for the sake of first impressions, but I just kept playing it, and I didn't stop it to record it. I just kept going and going and going. And by the time I realized that, like an hour or two had passed, and I was still really enjoying myself, and It's the first Metroidvania game I've ever played in extended time, and not only that, but it's one of the few games this year that I've actually finished. So, yeah, good going, Way Forward. You made a really interesting game. It's a game with almost no plot, but the dialogue is really good for what it is. The frickin' He-Man looking guy. That was funny.
Well, not He-Man.
Yeah, not He-Man. But, no, it's a surprisingly well-written game for having, like, no plot. And despite its outward appearances, it's one of those examples of the game is actually... It has a very mature look about itself because it flat out knows that it's a bit silly. Not a bit silly. It knows it's frickin' ridiculous. And it's like, they know, it's like, yes, we're a bit ridiculous, and we know it, so we're gonna have a little bit of fun, and we're gonna make fun of Shantae's outfit and all this other stuff. So that's genuinely, there's a lot of stuff about that game that I just really like. And, I don't know, the Risky's boots were just fun, just screaming across the screen at Mach 10.
And then you get our cannon, and then... All forms of platforming is non-existent! Well, except the final level, but who cares?
Oddly enough, the cannon, like your quadruple jump, ended up landing me in hot water on more than one occasion. Because here I was in older, earlier areas, these just parts of the game where you only have one jump. So, in my brain, I was already so used to just launching myself up into the air at 3 times the speed of sound. So, it'd just be like, simple platforming, I'd still end up just going, BOOM! And I killed myself more times than I care to admit, because I was using a quadruple jump in a place where a single jump was quite sufficient. So, I ended up dying a lot after that. So yeah. Game recommendations. Shantae. Games I would rather not be playing what you're watching on the screen.
I'm sorry.
Okay, these things. La Leap or Leap, something like that. Not that, it was maybe the other thing. But the Vine, the Constrict thing. Yeah. I was getting angry at this game. Because it was, I'd walk up, do one attack. And it was around this point that I figured out, if you hold L and then A, you can use a stronger attack. Right. So it'd be like, I'm gonna take this thing out. Swipe, miss, constrict, can't do anything.
Yup.
And I almost died twice, if not 3 times. I did not die, which I'm surprised, but I almost died more than once because of those things.
I'll actually tell you a little secret that could help you, but you also gotta have to keep maintenance on it when you get into situations like that. You can actually tell your partner to focus on certain things, like default, it's stick by your side forever and ever, unless you get separated, in which case, go wander.
So is there a function to keep the bunghole from being too far away to attack? Because that was a constant issue I was having. This freaking Pika bunghole was not attacking because he wasn't in a proper square.
There are 3 early access tactics that you can use. First one is, like I said, default, stick by your side. Second one is go after enemies. However, like I said before, you're going to want to keep maintenance on it, because if an enemy goes into the same room as you are and you're leaving the room, your partner will go back to fight the thing if you're not careful. So, whoever's in the room, your partner will go after if you tell them to go after foes. Same thing with avoid first hit, which is that they stay 1 space away from the enemy, which I would recommend for the most part, because they will be smart enough not to walk into an attack. But like go after foes, they will go out. Well, like it says, go after foes.
I don't think you saw that, but the stairs were right in front of me. So I hit dash, and then suddenly I was being attacked by a lobster.
Oh yeah, that's something else. That's something else I kind of like about this game, was the whole needing to maintain hunger and stuff. It's kind of like, okay, so prepare yourself, bring more goodies with you next time.
Yeah, but at this stage of the game, you don't even have access to purchase things, which I could see how, storing food and stuff and balancing, and it's the same thing as the tiring mechanic in Persona. you can't be out on the field too long because people just get tired.
Right.
Including yourself. It's very similar to that, and I actually do like that kind of mechanic in a limited perspective. But here, I was constantly worried: am I gonna just run out of food? And everything I picked up, it was just like, this will restore your hunger. I don't want to restore my hunger. I almost died from being constricted by a freaking bulbous thing.
That. Let's see.
And this bootleg Vulpix.
Actually, that was a slug.
Well, it looked at least from multiple angles, it looks like a bootleg Vulpix. But, this is the game that made me appreciate the dungeon crawling, turn-based nonsense that I hate so much.
Which is kind of sad, or not sad, because, whatever, to each his own. Because to me, Persona 3, while I didn't like it, I do love it. And I've even been finding myself enjoying the gameplay a bit.
See, every time I dash, I get attacked by a lobster.
But dash attack is the lobster button.
Cow.
Anyway. Problem is, eventually, unfortunately this game does the same thing, but eventually all battles become mundane and boring.
Eventually? What kind of planet do you live on? I played this for an hour and I wanted to kill myself.
Well, here's the thing. When I say that, I mean for the grinding sessions. But then that's grinding.
Persona is a game that you have to have podcasts ready to play because there are months and weeks in which the story's not progressing because, nothing's happening. And, research is being done. So then you go to Tartarus and because... about halfway through the game, your academics are basically maxed out anyway, so you can focus on fighting, which I like that mechanic, because either you can be a bit weaker in the battle and do poorly in school, and then you just don't have to do well in school anymore, and then you can just focus on battling. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Persona 3 is better to you.
No, Persona 3 is just a better game overall. Unless you gave me an entire plot breakdown, I'm never going to see where this game is coming from.
Look, this game is a little bit simpler in terms of plot compared to Persona.
Yeah, this game is a bit... GTA 4 has a more complex plot, and it's not exactly Citizen Kane, is it?
Yeah. But like I said, it does get serious later on down the line, and does get a little bit more complicated. It's just one of those slow burners that once it actually does get serious, and then after it's done with its being serious, it's kind of like, okay, and then post-game happens, and then there's some serious ones there.
Yeah.
I just like this game. I'm just that weirdo to you that likes this game.
I'm the weirdo to most people who will openly admit that high school drama anime is genuinely a thing I enjoy for all its melodramatic frickin' these awkward frickin' morons it's a lot of times it's garbage, but I do enjoy that for whatever reason. But then again, I didn't go to a public high school, so that's a slight emulation of something I never experienced. I guess that's why I like that so much, is because it's an experience that I never got. So, playing stuff like Persona, I felt like a fairly hard-working student, if not through hours of studying, certainly through the fact that, I was putting in a lot of hard work after school in Tartarus. You spend hours in Tartarus.
Yeah.
So, as a result, it's because the player is not having to actually study, the fact that the player is putting effort in elsewhere does give the sense that you are a student who is way too... Those things! Those freaking bulbous-looking lemon...
Chinglings.
Yeah, freaking... What is it?
Chingling.
Horned lemons or something? Chingling. Yeah, they chingling me out of a whole bunch of other crap. Oh, I hated that. Go die in a fire, you lemon-looking son of a bee. Trying not to swear too much.
Yeah, luckily the Pokemon later on doesn't use constricting moves as much, but I don't know, but that was an issue.
Well, you saw there was 2 lined up.
Yeah.
I saw 2 of them, and I was like,
and there's one behind you.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, why?
One thing I did like about...
It's like, uh-oh, you're about to die, stupid!
And then you miss. It's like, oh!
Yeah, every freaking time. It's just that kind of crap.
Oh, trust me, I've had more... I almost have more rage quits with when I miss than anything else. Especially while I'm low on health. It's like, don't miss, don't miss! Miss, death. Start all over, lose half your stuff. Hope you saved!
Yeah. I guess, well, that is one benefit to emulating it. You could just save state.
Oh, yeah. That's the best way to play any JRPG in general, is just to emulate. Especially for those, oh, I don't know, final dungeon games.
If the frickin', like, NSA, FDA, or whoever it is that monitors the internet came after me and it said, like, you stole Persona 3 by emulating, I'd just point at my shelf and say, how many copies of that game do you think I actually don't own? I own every kind of release of Persona 3 save for the portable. Basically, I have the freaking art book, I have the dang pre-order bonus, I have all this. I didn't pre-order it because I didn't play it back when it was released.
Another trick to make your partner more useful is, walk diagonally backwards. So the enemy will follow you at times toward your partner and stuff if you go backwards a bit. And you won't have to make them switch places. So that would help.
I'll say, the movement system in this, the way that it is technically turn-based, but it's free movement, reminds me a lot of Dwarf Fortress.
Huh.
Where, like, everything you do is considered a move, but, like, even waiting is a move. And, you wait and you restore health. Which, by the way, is a freaking horrible mechanic, because if you hit B and A and attack instead, you don't get your health. And instead, just a giant lobster comes out of nowhere and pinches your nipples off.
Honestly, I do appreciate that mechanic of auto-healing as you walk. Because...
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I don't think I'll be able to enjoy this game as much if that didn't exist, because... Let me tell you, I don't bring enough however you pronounce it, Oran berries, the ones that heal you, a lot of times. And sometimes I can't be bothered to heal my partner at times with one. So it's like,
right.
Just walk it off.
Yeah, I didn't even notice Senor Pika ever getting anywhere near low health.
Also, I think he might be one of the stronger characters.
What, Pikachu?
Yeah.
Well, he's kind of the mascot of the show, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, freaking hell, the Pokken, I don't even understand why they call it Pokken, but the Pokken tournament game for the Wii U has 2 Pikachus, for Pete's sake. No, it really does. One of them's a freaking Mexican wrestler.
All right. Now's when we get an angelic chorus together to sing Japan. That's what's funny. Well, it's not really funny, but you get, okay, like Jinx, for example. This is going off on a tangent. Jinx being that, people is like, Jinx is racist because blackface. When in reality, Jinx was based off of a Japanese cultural thing. It's not that they were culturally insensitive to people in the West, it's because I don't think they thought it was that big of a deal. And then kind of find out people lost their freaking minds over something that it wasn't even. And, were they overreacting? Not necessarily. I think it was kind of an oversight on whoever made it part. It wasn't 4Kids. 4Kids brought it over to the West. But it's just a very strange thing. That annoys me more than it should. Like, I shouldn't be annoyed that a Pokemon that I don't even care about was altered or anything like that, but it was a completely different thing than people were making it out to be.
Honestly, I was a bit more irritated about some of the banned, I say some in particular, episodes of Pokemon, because some of those banned episodes they banned had some, I don't know, explanation as to like why Ash had, I don't know, Tauros or a whole field of Tauroses. Is like, and suddenly Ash has got all these Pokemon. Like, wait, when did this happen? Why does it happen? Why is it relevant? Did I miss something? And it turns out, yes, I did. And probably for the best, I also missed James having shaggy boobs. If you haven't seen Nostalgia Critic, I'll have to show you.
I'm aware of the inflatable breast thing, but...
No, I'll have to show you the video.
The term shaggy boobs makes... Wait a minute, you're referring to the Scooby-Doo 2 review. How does that come back to Pokemon, then? Because, I mean, I don't know where you're getting
one of the banned episodes...
Yeah, he had the inflatable breast, and then you said shaggy, but that's not the same thing. That is a mental process I'm not understanding.
Okay, we'll probably have to cut that bit out.
No.
The inner workings
Now I'm just scared and confused. I need an adult. Actually, screw it. Anyway, more of this crap. I finally learned how the dash function properly works.
Yeah.
And it proved to be nowhere near as... And then this dingus was blocking the exit.
There's one thing you will have to worry about if you do progress in the thing. It's called monster parties.
That sounds incredible.
Oh,
wasn't there a movie called Monster Party?
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, what happens is there'll be this one room, and sometimes that is where you'll be spawning, where the entire floor the entire room that you entered in, or spawned in, will all of a sudden have an unlimited amount of Pokemon that just drop out of the ceiling. All sorts of Pokemon for this one particular dungeon, all piled up in this one room, and they will all come kick your butt. They are not fun to play with, and they are almost constant in the later game.
And there's no, like, nuke you can drop on them.
There are items, there are these orbs that can help you, like, freeze them, or make them get scared of you and stuff like that. So there's stuff to avoid having to fight every single one of them, but if you do not have said item, and you're going to need at least 3, and hope that you find more of, it will be a problem, especially if they're constant. Because sometimes you might run into a monster party floor after floor after floor. Oh, and add that to invisible traps that the enemy doesn't activate.
I hate it when games don't even abide by their own rules.
Well, they only activate
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
They only activate once you activated them, but you have to be the one that steps on them first before, you know.
And that's the thing with Resident Evil 4. I mean, you've got those bear traps, but to the best of my knowledge, the villagers can't activate the bear traps. So they're sitting there dancing through the frickin' cornfields, and there's Leon with his ankle getting torn off by a bunch of metal in a spring trap, and you're like, and then those frickin' idiots come out and start swinging at you with the damn pickaxes and shit.
Say what you will about the evil within, at least all the enemies do fall for the traps. That is nice. Even the big ones that you really do require trapping them because they have too much health for their own good.
See, that's a game that I don't know that much about, other than when I look at the way the game plays, like when I look at the gameplay on its own, just the feeling of the game looks like I could really enjoy it. It feels like a kind of game I could enjoy playing, but I played the demo, and I guarantee you I could not play the console versions because it locks that letterbox effect. It does that, the black bars.
Yes.
The console versions, that is mandatory. I cannot stand that. And I would have, like, the PC version lets you disable that. That is the first thing I did when I downloaded the demo. The demo, I played it for a little bit with those black bars and thought, no, I can't freaking stand this. And I know people say that, you know, you get used to it. I would rather see more of the freaking screen, honestly. Now, this is coming from somebody who doesn't actually mind a slight letterboxing. Like, if you have, like, a very tiny amount of it that sort of does a very slight decrease, I think that has a potential of looking good. But when your game is locked in this, I forget what it is, like 21:9 or some crazy resolution kind of letterboxing like that, yeah, go die in a fire. I don't want to play your bullcrap frickin' letterboxing. It's constricting, and it has the potential of even giving me motion sickness, if that's to be believed.
I can understand that.
I am highly susceptible to motion sickness in games. Like Metal Gear Solid 5, that is a third-person game that gave me horrible motion sickness. Peace Walker gave me horrible motion sickness. Frickin' thing on a spring over here.
Boink.
And I'm heavily susceptible to motion sickness, and letterboxing can cause that. Oop, I dropped a comb. Yeah, so we're receiving half of the periodic table of the elements. You've received an iron, and calcium, and
those pretty much help
potassium.
They help you increase certain stats. They're nice.
You've received an boron.
And now for, you know, VMTs. Take in 90% of your money.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, hey, you get 2,000 gold. I was like, yeah, that's not gonna last, is it? Because I mean, either that's not going to be all we get, or the prices in the shop are going to be through the roof.
Well,
I knew that the economy or something was going to screw me out of that 200.
Well,
or 2,000.
Well, certain items are going to be pretty pricey. Like, well, moves are to be expected. Those are going to go up to thousands. Like, the most like 9,000, I believe. And but, well.
Well, yeah, but if you're talking about late game content, you're probably just rolling in dough anyway.
No, you can actually get that kind of stuff early on, too, if you have enough dough. And luckily, the pricing of all things isn't that bad. As far as normal things go, the worst it might get is 1,000.
Pricing is never bad unless the game is unbalanced. That's just the general rule. The economical part of games is probably one of the most maddening things to get right in a game, because you have to scale it up to make better items be expensive, but you also have to scale it so the player has to both manage their income as well as be able to earn enough to afford it. Mr. Loudmouth over here. But no, the in-game economy has to be just the worst. So, yeah, I don't know. Any games that I make in like RPG Maker, that's always something that I'm really concerned about, is how do I balance the economy.
And that was where you quit?
Yeah.
Alright.
And yeah, just seeing what the other option was. And what am I doing? Oh, well, there it went. But so that was session 1 of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky.
He really wishes he was playing something else.
Yes, it made me want to play a dungeon crawling JRPG. You know, perspective is a wonderful thing. I actually enjoyed Tomb Raider 2013 after playing Daikatana. That was a feat in and of itself. I have a feeling I could turn on Persona 3 right now and have the time of my life in Tartarus while simultaneously listening to a podcast, because as much as I love that soundtrack, I have heard it a lot.
Just the, you know,
an 80-hour game where the battle theme doesn't change much, that might get a little old, no matter how good it is.
Yeah, I kind of wish Fuka would change that and not just dungeon theme.
I wish Fuka would just change her voice. I would
We
import.
probably should end this, since this...
No! We could keep going as long as we want to. We're gonna sit here and have a damn...
Should we
have a
throw
damn
something
singing...
else on then?
I could put something on right now. But you're not gonna watch it, because it's gonna be in post. They could be seeing a video about fluffy kittens right now. But we don't know, because I hadn't done it yet.
Okay.
Sing a song. Let it go! Let it go!
Nope.
What was that?
Me, not even trying.
I didn't even know what you were even not trying to sing. Kami no watae shi kuso puro. That was off key. Puro guramu.
This is...
This is one
of the worst things I've ever done.
I can't speak Japanese. I can only sing a song that... Watch Mirai Nikki, that's a good show. But don't watch it if you're under the age of anything.
So, you gotta be the age of nothing?
I said under the age of anything.
Who was under the age of anything?
Death. You have to be dead to watch Mirai Nikki.
Interesting. So, which place would I be able to watch it? Heaven or hell? And
I didn't think that far through.
that is going to be something for everyone to ponder. Let's have some cake.